while the lunch was covered by the senator from Illinois. I feel responsible for not having assisted with the tip. I have Venmo. You can do that with Venmo. You can do a PayPal. We can do a PayPal thing. So one of the powers of the president, outlined in Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 of the Constitution, is that the president gets to make appointments. These appointments are usually federal judges or district attorneys, Supreme Court justices. So the text of Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 is, the president shall nominate and by, with the advice and consent of the Senate, ministers and, what's it say? Shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, and consults judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States, whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for. And senatorial courtesy is where a single nay vote on one of these nominees from the home state where the nominee is from makes it so the appointment will not go forward. So let's say it was a federal judge. Let's say the president was trying to appoint a federal judge from Alabama. If everybody in the Senate was like, good pick, Mr. President, but the senator from Alabama was like, absolutely not, then the appointment is dead in the water. That's senatorial courtesy. The thought process behind it is that the senator from the home state of where the nominee is from is going to probably know that person a heck of a lot better than the other 49 states. So what ends up happening is before the president even decides to put forward a nomination, the president usually consults with the senators from that home state, first and foremost, to see if it's going to even happen. And the fun thing is this is not written anywhere. It is not written in Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 of the Constitution. It's something that happened under George Washington, and it continues to this day. The blue slip is this thing where senators can write in why they think an appointment should not go forward. There's one in the National Archives of Senator Thomas Hardwick who wrote that a nominee was personally offensive. Who was it for? U.V. Whipple. It was for U.V. Whipple to be a district judge, and Senator Hardwick was like, no. There is a huge exception to senatorial courtesy, and it's this. The senators have to be of the same party as the president for him to ask for the courtesy. Otherwise, you would have just Republicans and Democrats flat out blocking appointments from the president. I mean, you wouldn't have to have that, but it feels like that would happen. There's another less used, nowadays maybe not used at all, definition of senatorial courtesy, which is if an ex-senator is looking for a position in the executive cabinet, the Senate usually is like, hey, go ahead, gives their full support behind them, but that doesn't happen much anymore. The history of it is that George Washington was appointing people to collect taxes at ports. And he drafted up this list of nominees for port collectors. And they all had a bunch of I's from the Senate next to their name, A-Y-E-I. Except for one, Benjamin Fishburne, just had a big ol'... Sorry about that, Benjamin. No collecting for you. And the single no vote for Benjamin Fishburne, who is from Georgia, was from the Georgian Senator James Gunn. Make it work. Washington got in a bit of a tizzy and ran to James Gunn and was like, what's up with you saying a big old no to Benjamin Fishburne for port collector? And James Gunn gave his reasonings, but he said, I'm only doing this because of my respect for you, President Washington. The Senate owes no explanation for its votes to the president. Because if they did, holy cats. Critics of senatorial courtesy say that it gives too much power to one person in a given situation. And also that, like, what if there was some minor grudge in the past between a senator from a state and this nominee? Should this person not go forward because of this ancient grudge? That's what critics are saying about senatorial courtesy. What do advocates say? I guess advocates say it's cool because it forces this... I guess what advocates are saying is that senatorial courtesy is cool because it forces the president to seek advice from the Senate before he makes these nominations. He's not just picking a bunch of names and saying, do this for me. He's actually talking to people. Nothing hurts, never hurts to talk to someone. I guess that's it for this one. So be courteous. That's all. Be courteous and have a good one.